It was almost accidental in that, you know, I was really fortunate that I was doing a master's degree in theater at the University of Alberta, where they had a very intensive 2-year program, and part of what they offered you was a teaching opportunity, which I really appreciate now looking back, because that's so rare that you get to be a course coordinator or an instructor of a class on your own before you even start a PhD, so before you've really determined on an academic career. That master's degree was not an academically oriented one. For me, it was professional theater training, so it was unusual and rare to get that opportunity, and I realized that I really enjoyed it. And from that point on, that's what made my academic career seem more viable. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was gradually working my way out of a professional theater career and into a professional teaching career. Teaching is a form of service to me. I'm in the humanities. The humanities is about serving humanity. My grandfather used to talk about his public service work. Contribution to the community is rent due for space occupied.
What makes James such an excellent teacher? He is a very charismatic lecturer, so he can definitely keep a room enthralled with his conversation and speaking about any topic at all, and incredibly knowledgeable about all aspects of his subject. But I wouldn't say that is the greatest thing about James. I think that he actually it's his ability to interact with students and work out interactive ways of teaching. So he uses a lot of class discussion, he uses a lot of peer mentoring, so he encourages students to help each other with their learning. So he's very, very interactive for a start.
He's always got really engaging material, and he often, if it's kind of like that sort of like a drier subject, he always brings in sort of pop culture references and stuff to sort of, you know, keep it fresh. And you never feel like you're just sort of in the lecture. You always feel like you're engaged in some sort of conversation, and he always brings the best out of his students in any sort of setting. And that's the same in a tutorial style or anything, a workshop. He's always you always feel like you're allowed to say stuff.
He really sees potential and how much a teacher can also learn from the students, how much the students have to give, how much everyone has to give. He really is so keen on people actually learning.
In one sentence, my teaching philosophy is helping people become who they want to be. So that means also learning who they are right now and where they want to go and helping them get there.
James has been really experimental when it comes to digital technologies in the courses. Theatre is a live discipline, and that's really important, what goes on face-to-face in the room. But James has spent a lot of time thinking through which digital technologies can make the work more efficient, so that we're using that time in the room as effectively as possible. So a lot of the work online is with student collaboration in an online space, using wikis, using different tools in Blackboard and so on. But that's one of the innovations, is that he has really streamlined a lot of the assessment and marking through using digital tools, so that we can spend most of our time face-to-face doing the important things that we can only do live in the room.
He's always looking at the latest international research. He's published internationally on the way that he teaches. He is constantly experimenting with new ways of teaching, and he's looking at what other people have done and applying that to his own teaching.
Whatever innovations, you know, that I've been recognized for, that was possible because my students were willing to take the risks, my colleagues were willing to take the risks, that I made suggestions that they went along with. Nobody was so satisfied with how amazing our system was that they weren't willing to let me adapt and change things. So I'm very grateful to have had such supportive colleagues and students who were willing to embrace the risk as well.